In the basement of the National Archives, behind locked doors and temperature-controlled glass, 5 journals sit together. They were never meant to be read. The families who donated them made one request: seal them for 100 years. We know the Civil War through letters home, sanitized accounts of courage and honor. These 5 diaries tell a different story. They reveal what soldiers couldn't write to their mothers, what they couldn't admit to themselves, what broke men in ways bullets never could. 620,000 Americans died between 1861 and 1865, more than all other American wars combined. We've been told it was fought with honor, brother against brother, a tragic but noble conflict. This is what Private Thomas Bennett wrote home to Massachusetts in July 1863. He told his mother about good weather and adequate rations. This is what he wrote in his diary that same night. I can still hear Williams screaming. 3 hours pinned under a horse. We had to choose, waste morphine or let him die slower. Patterson put his pistol to Williams' head. We all agreed. No one speaks of it. Corporal Joseph Hart, 28th Pennsylvania Infantry, September 1862. Antietam remains the bloodiest single day in American history. 23,000 casualties in 12 hours. Hart's entry, September 18th. The wounded covered 4 acres of Miller's cornfield, arms reaching up from the stalks like a crop of dying men. We couldn't reach them all. By nightfall, the screaming stopped, not because we saved them. October 4th. Billy Preston died of gangrene, started in his foot. I watched it climb his leg like a black vine. Took 3 weeks. He begged us to shoot him. Officers won't allow it. They call it murder. I call it mercy. Hart's last entry, November 1862. I understand now why men desert, not from cowardice, from sanity. Lieutenant Samuel Cross, 21st Mississippi Infantry. The siege of Vicksburg lasted 47 days. Union forces surrounded the city. No food entered, no one left. May 24th. Rations cut to quarter portions. Men are eating boot leather boiled with salt. June 12th. Caught Morrison eating something in the dark. He ran, found a small grave near his tent, fresh. Morrison hasn't been the same since his dog went missing. June 28th. We don't discuss what happened to Morrison. Kendrick found him in the woods, said he was gnawing on something that wasn't animal or wasn't supposed to be. July 3rd, 1863. The rats have gone. Nothing left to eat, even for them. We surrendered today. I weighed myself, 93 pounds. I was 160 in May. We are hollow men, ghosts wearing uniforms. When soldiers returned home, those who returned, they brought nightmares. Wives found diaries hidden in trunks. Sons discovered them decades later in attics. And families made a choice: preserve history or protect reputation. Private Marcus Williams, 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, one of the first official African-American units in the Union Army. They fought for freedom, but first they fought their own side. August 1863. We receive half pay of white soldiers. When we protested, Sergeant O'Brien said we should be grateful to carry rifles at all. That night, someone cut our tent ropes while we slept, nearly smothered under the canvas. Captain claimed it was the wind. September 14th. 3 white soldiers from the 32nd jumped Davis behind the latrines, beat him unconscious, said they wouldn't fight alongside animals. Davis lost sight in his left eye. Official report: accidental injury during training. Davis didn't correct them. Said it would only get worse if he did. April 1864. We liberated a plantation today, found 12 slaves in the quarters, half starved. One woman grabbed my hands, kissed them, called me Moses. I told her I was Private Williams. She said, "You free now?" I didn't know how to answer. I wear blue, but I'm not free. Not like them. Williams survived the war. He returned to Massachusetts. His diary was found sealed in his granddaughter's attic in 1968. She requested it remained closed until 2063, 100 years after he wrote it. Surgeon Henry Blackwell, Army of the Potomac Medical Corps, Harvard-educated, age 26. He performed over 400 amputations in 2 years. June 2, 1962. My first amputation today. Successful. Patient survived with minimal blood loss. Procedure took 14 minutes. Textbook execution. December 1962. 32 surgeries today. 15 survived the table. The screaming doesn't stop when they die. It continues in my head. I hear them in sleep. I hear them when awake. Constant screaming.
February 1863. No more chloroform. Cases of whiskey promised never arrived. Performed amputation on conscious soldier today. 6 men held him down. His screams, I can't, I won't write it, but I'll never forget. March 1864. A boy came in today. Couldn't be older than 15. Shrapnel in the abdomen. I knew he wouldn't survive. I could have given him morphine, let him die peacefully. Instead, I operated. Pointless operation. He died screaming. Why did I do it? To practice? To feel something? To prove I'm still a surgeon and not a butcher? I don't know anymore. I don't know who I am. Blackwell stopped writing in April 1864. He stopped performing surgery in May. He was found unresponsive in his tent, staring at his hands. Medical discharge, nervous exhaustion. He spent the rest of his life, 31 years, in a Massachusetts asylum. He never spoke again. Captain Elijah Morse, 11th Ohio Infantry, April 1865. The war was ending. Lee would surrender in days, but some battles continued, and some weren't battles at all. Morse's diary was sealed with a letter from his widow. These words must never be read by decent people, but they must be preserved. Someone must know what happened, someday. April 9th, 1865. We captured 23 Confederate soldiers this morning. They surrendered without resistance. Most were boys. Colonel Barrett ordered us to march them into the woods. I thought for prisoner exchange. I was wrong. Barrett lined them up against trees, told us they were guerrillas, told us they'd committed atrocities, told us to fix bayonets. I looked at their faces. They were just boys in gray. They cried. They prayed. Barrett gave the order. We obeyed. I don't know why. I don't know how to live with that. Morse wrote 6 more pages, describing each face, each name he learned, each prayer he heard. He wrote that 17 men participated. Only 3 refused. Those 3 were transferred immediately. Officially, cowardice in the face of the enemy. April 15th, 1865. Today, Lincoln was assassinated. The nation mourns. I feel nothing. I died in those woods 6 days ago. What walks around wearing my face is something else, something hollow, something damned. Morse returned to Ohio. He never married, never spoke of the war. In 1883, he walked into a forest outside Cincinnati. His body was found 3 days later, a pistol in his hand, his diary in his coat pocket. Of the 5 diarists, only 2 survived past 1880. Hart died of alcoholism. Cross never recovered his weight, died of general debility. Williams lived longest, dying in 1911 at age 72. He never wrote again after the war. Their names don't appear on monuments. Their stories aren't in textbooks. Their diaries were sealed by families who loved them but couldn't face what they'd endured, who couldn't reconcile the men who left with the ghosts who returned. These 5 diaries remained sealed for 100 years. When they were finally opened in the 1960s and 1970s, the family's descendants faced a choice: destroy them or share them. They chose truth, uncomfortable, painful truth. We've fought many wars since 1865. We've learned to treat soldiers' wounds, physical and mental, but we still struggle with the truth these 5 men wrote down. War doesn't create heroes, it creates survivors, and sometimes it creates ghosts who walk among us, carrying horrors they can't speak. Joseph Hart wrote, "I understand now why men desert, not from cowardice, from sanity." Perhaps the true act of courage isn't enduring war, it's surviving it, and then having the strength to tell the truth. These 5 diaries are housed in the National Archives. They are available to researchers by appointment. Their families ask only one thing: remember these men as they truly were, not as heroes, as human beings who endured the unendurable, and wrote it down so we would never forget.